Okay, in a previous video, we did a mileage sheet, and I may have adjusted the formatting a little bit, but this is kind of what we're using here. We went over these basic maintenance items, and you can add more just by doing a shift and right arrow over, hold down the control, hit the plus key, shift cells down. You can add in whatever you want. It should automatically update there. If it's not updating, then you need to check your options in Excel. So let's just undo that. Now today what we're going to do is do a quote builder. You can see everything here is empty right now. I had that for a reason. You can see that I have the addresses over here that we're going to use. See, we've got our mileage cost built. We've got our parts cost built. This is just a real simple formula here. And in fact, let's just even do something here. I'm just going to do constants text, remove text. And went over this in some other videos. Let's just do some proper formatting here. You can see that these are hard-coded. And this is total cost is price per unit times quantity. Okay. You can see in our labor categories, we have number of hours for task 1 and for task 20. This would be another video really to calculate your hourly rate for your firm or for your company. Not necessarily hourly rate for the individual. This is the hourly rate for your company to go and do this work. So this quote builder is actually some VBA code that was written, that I created for calculating your mileage charge. And I'll do a kind of quick overview of that real quick. So this is the VBA code that is created for this, and I'm not going to scroll all the way up because there's an API key in this, and you don't want to really release that because it can cause some damage. But anyway, this is the VBA code on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to just close that out. So what we're going to do is with this starting destination, you have to put in an exact address, or you could put in just a city and a state, and it'll do the calculation, because what it's doing is actually pulling from Google. So if you go to Google Maps and you put in something, it'll do a pretty good job of finding, if you put in just a city and a state, it'll just find the center of that city and give you directions from that center point. So in this scenario, what we have is a company that creates a variety of parts and needs to install that down in Douglas, Arizona. So our starting point is going to be these over here. Our starting point is going to be the one over here, and then we have a waypoint to pick up the material, and then we have a endpoint down in Douglas, Arizona. So this 9255 South Rita Road is a gas station. So your driver, let's say your launch point for whatever reason is this gas station, right? And then waypoint 1, they got to go pick up the parts from this location, which is Industrial Metal Supply in Tucson, Arizona. And then the final endpoint here is going to be down in Douglas. And I just chose this is a Walmart down in Douglas, Arizona. So it's 199 5th Street, Douglas, Arizona, right? So everything is populated, and you can see right now everything is valued out, and that's because these are blank and I cleared them out. We have our charts over here for total drive time in hours. We have our hourly charge for drive, which is manually populated, and then total hourly charge for drive, which is going to be the total charge for our hourly charge for drive times our number of hours. So what we're going to do is calculate mileage. We're going to get macro started message box that I created in there, and then we see that this does update. This is a live feed here, 2.11 hours. It's 122 miles from the gas station to Industrial Metal Supply to Douglas, Arizona. Now, if you want to charge to come back to Tucson, Arizona, then what you would do is you would do just waypoint 7 as 199 5th Street, Douglas, Arizona, and then change this back to 9255 South Rita Road. Let's just say that gas station is your return point. Calculate mileage. And you got 227.3 miles, 3.91 hours of drive time. We're going to charge $45 per hour for the drive time. If you didn't do $45 for the hours for drive time, this is somebody that you've got 2 people in the cab to deliver the equipment down or the material down to Douglas. And then we're going to charge a total $175 for drive time. So what we get here is we get our truck charge, and we get this formula here. What it does is it goes up to I3, where the total miles from the API code are populated. And it takes that and it multiplies it by our mileage cost that we created in the previous video over here. And this is our charge over here. And in this mileage charge, I may have updated. If you want to charge, this is what it costs to operate the truck per mile. And if you want to do an upcharge of 50%, this is what it costs. If you do an upcharge of 20%, this is what it costs. If we go back over here, we should see the cost change. So, just to verify that, I know you can rewind the video, but just to verify that, right now we're looking at $259.44 is what we're going to charge our customer for a delivery charge. If we go over here, we do a 100% markup. Then we got $315. So you can see that is dynamic. Now our on-site charges for parts and labor, and then we have our total project charge to customer is going to be C14 plus C17 plus C18. Okay, so this should help if you want to just create a really simple way of calculating your mileage charge and distance to miles. And it saves time if you have a dispatcher or you have to do quote calculations that you need to go into Google Maps and you got to get your mileage, and then you got to go into your software that you use to build your estimate for a project, and you got to kind of sum all that together and put together. But it's not live. This is live. And what you would do is just every single customer you would just create a new file, which for every customer, you should be creating a new folder for that customer anyway, and then you put all the documents related to that customer in that folder. And this would just be another file that you put into that folder, and you can create your entire quote inside of this, so that you're not going to multiple different softwares trying to load different things, and then you put it into a static quote builder and you submit the invoice and something changes, you have to update everything along the way. If like right now, we're saying that it's going to be $86,000 for this total project. And if we go over to our parts and our vendor for part 12 comes back and says, hey, it's going to be $337 a part. Well, right now we've got $86,454. So we go here, we say it's 337. It's now $86,654. So we now have a really fast way to dynamically estimate what our charges are going to be to the customer for different projects. And whatever industry you're in, you can change parts and labor to hardware and software or whatever it is you want to do. But just stop losing money using multiple softwares to try and track all this different stuff and keep it in your head. And you can use this and give this to your estimator, and they just do a new file, save as, and create a new file for a new customer. Okay, that's all. If you've got an idea for an Excel sheet that you want me to go over, leave in the comments. You got an idea for something that uses API, leave in the comments. Let me know what you have to say. Thanks.